I seriously can't believe I'm going on camera looking like this. Damn. It's amazing because a couple weeks ago I was like, oh, I can't go out in public, like my neck has this little rash. Now I look like a corpse. Guys, so where to begin? Like, this is actually me with makeup on, and I can't put any makeup on the skin here because it's so dry that it just looks like makeup on dry skin. So a few weeks ago, I did a 10-day Parasite Cleanse. The video you may or may not have seen took you through all of the 10 days, and there was some points where I shared how my symptoms, specifically the rash on my arms and neck, was getting worse and worse, and I was really frustrated. Since the end of the detox, I've been continuing with using most of the tools from it, including eating a ton of fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds, using the enemas every single day, using dry fasting, water fasting, everything. All of the tools pretty much just continued on. Since then, things have seriously escalated. I have gone through an ear infection, a throat infection and a cough, cysts in my underarms, random pimples on my stomach and legs, the corner of my mouth being dry and cracked, and now the redness and hives around my eyes. What's amazing about it is I've been able to watch my body sort of come up with all these different ways to hopefully just be detoxing itself. Part of me is like, is my immune system just so low that I just keep getting every freaking sickness imaginable? Or is it that my body is kind of cleaning out every area of my body? I don't actually know, but I'm at the point where there's literally nothing else I can do but trust the process. I've been continuing using the tools from the detox, which includes dry fasting and having days with just fruits and having days with just juices and eating mostly tons of fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds. That's almost exclusively what my diet has consisted of. Earlier this year, I did about 4 months of the Candida diet, which included animal products and rice and grains, and then I got back to this point. So it just wasn't really working for me, I guess. And what's hard about all this is that I don't have one formal diagnosis. So what I know is I have some form of eczema. We kind of treat eczema in one way with steroid cream in Western medicine, but there are many different types of eczema. So I've had eczema for quite a few years, definitely since 2017, and I think I also dealt with it when I was a younger kid as well. And all I've done is use steroid creams, not all the time. I didn't feel like it was a huge part of my life, but I would always have some on hand, and when I saw that eczema or eczema flaring up in my arms, I'd put a little bit of cream. So I feel like I've been using a super low dose really consistently for maybe 2 years, or for 2 years, and then I haven't really used it in a year. Anyway, so one part of this problem is eczema. Another part is maybe steroid cream withdrawal. Steroid cream withdrawal is very understudied. There are only a few research papers on it online, which pretty much give like no direction of what to do if you have this. It's just like saying how having steroid cream withdrawal can take a year to heal and it results in all of these rashes really similar to what I have, but it doesn't suggest not prescribing steroids, which is so fucked up. And I understand that steroids as a medication are life-saving in situations, but I think we just need to be so careful with how often we use them. And when doctors are prescribing steroids, they often say you're only supposed to use this for a short amount of time. The box even usually says you're only supposed to use this for a short amount of time, but it's really freaking serious. On top of that, I've been prescribed quite a few rounds of antibiotics in my lifetime, but also over the last years. In my early teenage years, I had strep throat a lot, and so I was given a ton of antibiotics for that. Then I had my tonsils removed, which are a big immune supporter in our bodies, so that was gone. I've had lots of UTIs and other issues that have required rounds of antibiotics. As you probably know, when you take antibiotics, it's really hard on your gut, and it is estimated that over 2/3 of antibiotics are prescribed unnecessarily. So in this experience of having an ear infection and a throat infection while I have this crazy rash going on, it was not an option for me personally to take antibiotics again. And I will say it was really amazing to watch my body process that infection on its own. So I felt and really experienced the infection building and building, and I was in so much pain one night that I was literally basically scream crying on the floor of my bathroom because I was in so much pain. And I just slept, I just rested, which is what my body needs. I dry fasted, which is what our body needs to just have everything out of the way so it can do its job. And I got to feel the pain and the pressure and the heat just reduce. And it definitely took a full week. Whereas if I had started taking antibiotics, I would have not felt the pain after probably about 2 days, but probably still would have felt the majority of that pain. So for me, it was really amazing to just let my body process it and remind myself what our bodies are capable of doing. Okay, so where are we? I have eczema. I've had a lot of overuse of antibiotics. I have been eating a ton of raw salmon and tuna and lots of cooked seafood as well in the last years. It's like my favorite type of meat. And so there are some risks with heavy metals in fish, and that's why pregnant women are advised not to eat tuna. So of course that's because there's such a high risk to the baby, and even as an adult not pregnant, obviously all those heavy metals are also going through my body. So I think there's some toxicity there as well. Again, I've gone to a doctor, they tell me eczema, they want to give me steroid cream, end of story. I haven't done other testing, but all of these things just make sense to me. And I think when it comes to our health, being your own advocate and doing your research is so important, because unfortunately, general practitioner doctors are taught a little bit about a lot of things. So unless you're seeing a specialist, you know it's a whole thing. Again, never am I shunning Western medicine. I'm just sharing my experience and my story. If you are considering healing your eczema or healing your psoriasis or supporting your own autoimmune disease through natural medicine or whatever, I am not the picture of health right now. And I totally get that. And part of me wanted to wait to make this video till after my skin clears up, because I know it will, but that's not really helpful, and it's kind of just vain, I guess, and I want to remember what the process is like. So the process has been fucking excruciating, if I'm being honest. I feel really depressed. Last week I was like, wait, am I actually depressed? What's been really hard for me is to judge, like, am I holding myself back? Am I holding myself in this rut because there's nothing I need to push to go do or create? So because I'm self-employed, I've just been able to dial back my work, and I'm still making a bit of money and I feel good about it. But if I had a 9-to-5, would I really be spending 12 hours in bed and sleeping 10 hours a night? I don't know. Is that just what my body needs, or am I kind of being a baby? In the history of me as a human, I am someone who is really high achieving, who always does a lot of projects on the go, fill my schedule. I have been the person that's like waking up at 5 a.m. every morning to go to the gym and working 2 different jobs while in school, making an online course while coaching my clients and doing this and doing that and making all the things. And I like operating like that, but I really think that I burnt myself out, and that's part of what all of this is I have been basically pumping my body with stress and cortisol by operating in that way, by putting so much pressure on myself, and I do need to rest. But then I feel like this whole year has just been me resting, and I'm still sick, and nothing's getting better fast. But then is it just me needing a quick fix and being used to things happening fast with pills and and dopamine and our societal addiction to things happening fast? Or am I babying myself and keeping myself stuck? So I don't know what the answer is, but the only practice that I have is trusting myself and having to really listen to myself and just like be like, what is true? What is true? What is true? What is true? And a lot of sleep is true for me. I've been someone who's been consistently sleeping 8 or 9 hours a night for a very long time. So for me to be sleeping 9 to 10 hours a night now isn't actually that surprising, because I have open wounds on my body, and my body probably does need that extra time to heal. And then I wake up and I'm like, okay, this isn't gonna get me down today. I'm just gonna live my life like normal. But then my skin is literally burning and itching and pussing and bleeding. And how can I operate when I can feel that all the time? But what I also really believe is that any unease in my body, sickness, disease exists because of some emotional or energetic block. That is how disease gets created. Emotions are energy. So we are having an experience all the time. The experience is creating thought, feelings, and emotions. The emotions are chemical reactions in our body that get created. If we don't transmute those emotions by letting them out, expressing them, they stay in our body and they can cause pain or disease. This is just what I believe based on my readings and my studies and all the things. So, all to say that I believe that this is a physical manifestation of some unalignment and dis-ease or unease in me and in my body. So I have to be really real with myself and ask myself hard questions like, why is this rash benefiting me? Because our minds are really creative in getting us what we want. So for example, why might this sickness be benefiting me? Maybe people are paying more attention to me. Maybe my parents are paying more attention to me. Maybe it's the only thing that's giving me permission to rest, because otherwise I don't feel like I'm allowed to rest. Maybe it is allowing me to not go on dates, which I'm actually really scared to do because I have an excuse not to leave the house. Maybe it's allowing me not to leave the house. Maybe it's allowing me to not work and I don't actually want to work. all of these things could be real. Maybe that's what I really want, and I have to look at that. I have to look at that, and I have looked at that. And still, I'm like, even if those things are awesome and I don't have to work and I can sleep in, I would still rather do all the latter than have this. So then that's another thing that's been so frustrating for me, because I know that somewhere on some level I must be kidding myself or lying to myself or holding myself back. So about a week ago, I met this woman, Sarah, and then a couple days ago, she shared with me an interview that she did with William Whitecloud, who is the author of a couple books, one called The Magician's Way, Secrets of Natural Success, and then there's another one, The Last Shaman. In the start of this interview, basically the first thing he said just confirmed what was percolating in my mind, which was, am I keeping myself sick? He said, basically, we are keeping ourselves sick. And if we identify with the sickness and behave like a sick person, we will stay sick. So it was 48 or 72 hours ago that I was like, okay, how much attention am I giving to this? And I thought about my days, and I bet I was giving 4 or 6 hours a day just looking at my rash, touching it, like letting it hold me back from things, looking in the mirror even. Are my eyes still red? 2 hours later, are my eyes still red? Yeah, just everything, feeling it, feeling bad about it. And I realized I just need to act not like a sick person, like a capable person, because all things considered, I have a beautiful home. My body is still very strong and healthy, even though I am exhausted, I am in a lot of pain. Things could be so much worse. I've been eating and nourishing my body with amazing foods, and even if I only have 3 hours of solid energy a day, wow, what a miracle, what a miracle. I get to live life in this body, and if all I need to do to make that a little more comfortable is wear a bandana to just help with my skin and put some ointments on, it's still life. And I feel like since then, the universe has just been reminding me over and over what a miracle it is to be alive and giving me so many signs to just keep going. So later that night, after watching the interview, I read an email and it was talking about chasing your joy and how the pursuit of the joy is actually where the joy is, not ever in the end goal. Then I heard someone else say, you know, we make this plan, I want to spend my life traveling, I want to spend my life this, I want to spend my life that. But we're spending our life right now. I'm spending my life today. We're spending our life in every moment. So if I don't want to spend my life sick, then I cannot spend my life sick. I cannot invest in the sickness in every hour of my day. So again, it's been like 2 days. Of course, my symptoms have not miraculously cleared up, although I kind of wish they would. But then I started to think, am I being too reckless? Is me acting like I'm not sick making me overexert myself? Is it making me more sick? Is it making me make reckless decisions because now I've drank a coffee, which brings me so much joy? Am I sabotaging myself? And I didn't know, and I don't know. So last night I was feeling exhausted, particularly itchy, and I decided to pull a card. I grabbed my deck, Cosmic Guidance, and I asked the cards, am I doing the right thing by pursuing following my joy versus what I had been doing, which is basically living like I was living in a hospital with a very, very strict diet, strict medical regime, isolating myself a lot, resting a lot, and really being sad and really numbing myself out a lot, which even as I say it doesn't sound good, but it was just more structured and, you know, sanitary and clean and all of the things, which made it feel really comfortable. So I was shuffling the cards, and I think one really cool thing with cards is if you just let your hands do the shuffling and you just grab whichever cards jump out, or you just wait for a message that's like, okay, stop here, or cut it here, you know, cut the deck here, you will always get the guidance you need. So I asked for just one card to let me know, is following my joy the right solution for everything that's happening to me? And I was shuffling and shuffling, and one card came out, and it was this card. It says, don't stop. Don't stop. A miracle is around the corner. Wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I just felt so grateful because every time I have felt like giving up, every time I felt so scared that I'm not getting better, or like maybe I'm doing the wrong thing, maybe I'm in the wrong place, the universe continues to remind me to just keep going. And as crazy as it might sound, I'm okay with being crazy at this point because I am at pretty low. As crazy as it might sound, I think that this whole year of being symptomized, having symptoms and being sick is just a really big initiation for me. And it has been an initiation into trusting myself, learning about my body, and Like I can't even imagine the reward that is coming for me in how I'm able to show up in the world and how I'm able to hold space with people and hold space for transformation, because that is ultimately what I think I'm here to do in a really big way, to be able to empathize with people, to be able to really intuitively support people in their own healing and guidance, to be able to really bring things into the world that are not only going to change how we operate, but how we operate amongst and with one another in business and relationships. Now I barely remember why I sat down to do this video. It was pretty much like an update sort of video and where I've been. I'm probably gonna try and continue to make YouTube videos, because in all of this time of self-reflection and my own practice of listening to my intuition and listening to what I'm being called to do, it is to continue to make videos, which scares the fuck out of me because I look like a corpse. But a month from now, a couple weeks from now, maybe less, I won't. And then we can look back on these videos and be like, wow, Johanna was not looking so good. Her body was having a tough time. But now she's on the other side and we are all still here hanging out together on my YouTube channel. So I actually have no idea if this video has a point, a beginning, a middle, or an end. I just knew that I needed to break through of being scared to sit down in front of the camera, and that is what I did. So if you need any other context to all of the things that are going on in my brain right now, if you're going through something similar or whatever it is, let me know in the comments below. If you do have similar symptoms, I would actually recommend looking up steroid cream withdrawal. There's a girl who's made a lot of good videos about it. I'll maybe pin one here or put one down below. I'm not too familiar with the whole thing yet, because her videos are really good and I'm not going to make my whole channel about it. This channel is about personal development, self-trust, and spirituality. And my ultimate goal is really to help you elevate into the next higher level of yourself, which is what I'm doing right now. Okay, that's the end. Thank you for being here. I'm here for you if you need anything, and we'll chat soon.